Russian state media is reporting that President Putin has visited the Ukrainian city of Mariupol in what's believed to be his first visit to Russian-occupied territories of the Donbass region of Ukraine since the war began. This footage is said to show the president driving around the streets of Mariupol, the port city that Russian forces captured in the early stages of the invasion after fierce fighting. The city is now said to be largely destroyed, though Russia has been rebuilding parts of it to try and erase its Ukrainian heritage. The state media in Russia have also released this footage in which it says Putin has visited the city's Philharmonic Theatre, the same hall that was allegedly used by Russia to hold prisoners of war during sham trials that were held there. Well, let's bring in our chief correspondent, Stuart Ramsey, who's joining us now from Ukraine this morning. Good morning to you, Stuart. Good to have you with us. So what do you make of the fact that we've now seen Putin allegedly popping up in Mariupol?
Yeah, it is definitely symbolic. You know, this came in the week that he was indicted by the ICC for illegal trafficking of children, to all intents and purposes. And he's been to Crimea to celebrate the 9th anniversary of its takeover of Crimea. And, of course, his first stop was to go and see a load of children. And now we understand he took a helicopter to Mariupol and has, as you said, been driving around talking to people. Mariupol is a significant place. Obviously, it's extremely important for the Russians, and obviously Ukraine wants to get it back. But it was also the scene of some terrible fighting. And if we're talking about the ICC, well, there's an awful lot of allegations of war crimes against Putin and his forces there as well. Bakhmut is where we're watching a lot of the fighting taking place at the moment. It's actually gone on for longer than Mariupol, but Bakhmut is a very much smaller place. Mariupol is a big city and really significant, and obviously, as I say, this is very much a symbolic visit by the president. It is interesting, he hasn't really gone to the front lines. President Zelensky goes quite often, and that's to boost morale for his troops, but the Russian president often doesn't go, and throughout this war he's mainly been in Moscow. We also understood, though, that he's in Russian territory, was meeting some of his senior commanders as well. As I say, this is actually for the photographs and the cameras. It's to sort of show a message back home that not only is it business as usual for the president, but that he can actually go pretty much wherever he wants, and into Ukraine as well. If you take Crimea, is obviously part of Ukraine, but this was right into the front line areas, if you like. So that's what symbolism, I suppose, is all about.
You say to show strength to those back home, but, I mean, you're in Kyiv. I wonder how, because they'll see these pictures, I wonder how it will be received there, because, of course, Mariupol is firmly in the sights of the Ukrainian forces to eventually take back.
Oh, yeah, they're absolutely determined they'll take it back, though it is going to be a very difficult fight. And obviously, this war is really grinding on, and all the indicators from both sides, particularly Russia, who are thinking of calling up more soldiers, that this really could go on for a very long time indeed. People will see it here. They will be irritated by it, obviously, but there's nothing that President Putin does that will surprise them anymore. It's the type of thing they will expect to see. I don't think it'll make much difference to them one way or the other. You know, the last week or two that we've been here, I've talked to a lot of people about sort of weariness of war, etc., because there's huge numbers of Ukrainian soldiers being killed. I've been to lots and lots of different funerals. But no, you know, the country remains united. They hate the war, but they are determined to keep fighting. And so President Putin turning up in Mariupol is not going to affect the people of Ukraine in any shape or form. And they're certainly not going to take it as anything other than a simple symbol that he can go there for now. All it will do is make them determined to make sure that he can't go there in the future.